You're gonna do it. Oh, awesome.
We're live. So, everyone, this is part 2, I guess you could call it, of Let's Get Hype as Fuck with my man Norman Lee, also better known as Norman Bates.
Bates.
So, my brother, welcome to my show. I'm glad that we finally get to do this again.
Yes, ma'am.
So, first question I usually start with is, how old are you?
I'm 33 years old.
And
I'm an 89 baby. I'm born right in between 90s and the 80 era. No one accepts me, so I'm always like, where am I at? Everyone talks about the 90s era, and they talk about the 80s. So. But yes, I was born in 89. 33 years old.
And how long have you yourself been making music?
Me, myself, all my life.
All right.
All my life.
So you just like came out into the world singing, or what?
Yeah, at a young age, I had this music teacher, and her name is Miss Ratcliffe, and she inspired me to sing at a young age. And she called. There was kids who was in my school where we grew up, in Bonita of USA. There's a lot of mentally ill people that gets took care of there. There's a place called Eastern State, and it's a mental it's asylum. It's a mental hospital. It's called Eastern State Hospital. There's 2 of them here in the United States, but this is one of them. But I don't know. But they did shock therapy and everything there. There's tunnels underneath it. But long story short, when they closed down, I don't know how true this, but I know that when they closed down, they allowed people to go to places called like Home of Hope and Elysium and all this, and they have caretakers, they have individuals that take care of them. So where I grew up, there was a lot of people when I went to school. They there was less fortunate like some. So and never did I ever make fun of them or anything like that. Never. But I felt like I had family that was that way. I mean, I'm somewhat autistic, so I have mental illnesses. So when I went to school, I felt like I was like them, but I was afraid to come out and be like, okay, well, I'm like them because I've seen people pick on them. People look at them. And long story short, we had a couple come in our music class. And Mr. Ratcliffe and Mr. Lewis, there's another one. He's another music teacher. I'm going to give a shout out to him too. I remember going into the long hallway. It wasn't long, but as a kid, it felt like. And there was glass doors, and the doors, it was like metal, and then there was a wooden door you open up, but you could see through it. It had like the mesh on it, but it had music, like MOOS. I see whatever, but instead of music, but that's what she would lure people in a way of people would look at it differently. She would use a metaphor, or whatever it is, or whatever, but it would mean it, but it would also mean something else. And she had the sign painted black and white like a milk cow. And I remember that kid was coming in there and he was frustrated. He didn't want to come in there. He had a speech impediment. So I looked at the teacher. I don't remember who the teacher was. I want to say it was Miss Fry, but I could be different. I could be wrong. It could be different. But I looked at the kid and I said, music. Long story short, that introduced me to music because what I did, the door was open and the music teacher seen me interact, and it allowed that kid to come in. So she's seen that. Hey, and I was a heck of a child growing up. Don't get me wrong. I grew up in a life full of addiction. Both my parents struggled with addiction, and but that opened up the doorway. And I remember, hey, Marguerite coming on, all of some, hey, Marguerite, I mean, I was learning to dance, and some of the kids, but they had this deal going on. We'd always sit there and watch, like on Fridays or something. We'd have something and we'd get together, and we watch movies, and it was musical movies. Well, the Macarena come on, and the kid jumped up and started doing it. So it was one of those moments for me that I could actually step out of my comfort zone and be myself because, man, I grew up on country music. I grew up on classic rock. It was Star 103, and then we had KMOD. But But it was, that was ZZ Top, AC/DC, Led Zeppelin,
Leonard
Eagles,
Skinner. Yeah,
Leonard
believe it or
Skinner,
not, so did I. I actually
you know,
grew up on country music, believe it or
country.
not,
And
and
believe it or not,
classic.
Garth Brooks was my favorite. You know what I mean? Garth Brooks was my favorite. And
Yeah.
my mama vouched for me. But my very, very favorite of all is Hank Williams Sr., number one. And then you got the old possum. You got rest in peace, all of them. But George Jones is another one of my favorites. Johnny Cash. I love Johnny Cash. He speaks right to the heart. But music. Then I got into middle school. This teacher, and he was, well, it was kind of crazy because elementary school, when we left elementary school, went to middle school, we had the same music teacher, and then our dean of students and the principal moved with us. Coach Rankin did moved with us there, and then kind of like and then I went from middle school with Coach Rankin and Mr. Lewis, because Mr. Lewis, I believe he taught, yeah, second, third, and fourth and fifth grade, and then he followed us to sixth, seventh, and eighth and ninth grade. There was this brother that I had called Stephen Ayers, but then he moved to Miami, and I remember Mr. Lewis asking me, "Hey," because I was in show choir finally for once, but I messed it up because in eighth grade, I started young. Fam, you got to listen, man. Well, you are listening. I'm sorry. My, like, where I grew up, there's a brother that does music too here. His Harley, and he's really good too. His style is totally different, but he does a lot of stuff, and I want to give a shout out to that brother and Knobboy, because Knobboy, they're doing their thing, and I'm proud of them. You know what I mean? And I give them, because there's not very many people up here trying to do stuff that actually people getting out of the normal. But music, I seen them guys growing up, and I felt like I couldn't get in there and get in the spotlight, or I felt like I didn't belong, because I wasn't good enough. And the thing is, and they inspired me growing up, and there was a big group of them, brothers that actually come up and did that. And but when I got to middle school is really when I started really realizing that music is something that I liked. Everyone. Now I was it was hard for me to apply myself in sports, but don't get me wrong. If I was to have played, I wasn't a weakling. I was very fast. I was fast. I was very athletic, but sometimes the way I had to deal with life at home, it was hard for me to escape and be normal with them kids. There's a few kids that I knew that knew what happened that goes on at home, but the only way I could feel myself was in music. So Mr. Lewis taught me, and he stuck to it. Then he moved, and then my parents split up at a young age, and it split up the way everything happens. At a young age, everything goes downhill, and there was no way out. I lived in the twilight zone, and I don't knock or disregard anybody when I say anything in this, but it's just things happen there, and very few people come out of the place and say that they can be something. But the very few that do come out of there, that make something of themselves, do become something. And I got away finally, and I did several years in prison. Started at a young age. I had to I had to keep music with me. You know what I mean? Music was my life, because the only place that I could leave home and be myself was through music. You know what I mean? I go to the music class. I learned. Mr. Lewis would stack movies in front of us, and we'd watch movies about Bach, Beethoven, Mozart, Wolfgang. And there's just, that dude is cold. There was just so many Einsteins to when it comes to classical music. When you put classical orchestra music and you close your eyes, you feel it. Tech Nine did the best, man. When I could, man, that brother, he is the maker of why I love music and rap music. Tupac too. Eminem came next, and I was like, oh well, hold on. There's a light skinned brother that's coming in. Hold on, let me see this. What's going on? And hi, and and my name is that was in the '90s, But '94 and '95 is when I was introduced to Tech Nine. And it wasn't really big, but it was just something I just just heard of him, and he sounded like a gun. And everybody, everyone had their favorite rappers and stuff. But I was introduced to underground at a young age. Then I was very introduced, at a very young age, because the family that had taught me everything that I know now, to the point of what it is through addiction. Uh, and they taught me the music, but the music's what I escaped from. So when I was a kid, I went to school, and all I wanted to do is make tunes. I had my pencils, and I was making my little beats, and then I go to the music room. Granted, check this out. When I was in 8th grade, I thought I was going to be a cool guy and try to push Mr. Lewis's piano up to where it needed to be, because we pushed it on against the wall. Me and my buddy did. I took the blame though. We started pushing it while the carpet on the floor, because in the music room, when you first walk in, there was 2 doors, and the 2 doors in the music room, they went straight off across the hallway into where we had this auditorium, and it was a stage. So we have music shows there. We had, with a contest, all that. We'd go there for our music shows, or Christmas carols, or Thanksgiving shows, or Easter shows, Martin Luther King shows. We do. We supported, when it come to the community, what it was to be true American. And I was introduced to music. Music was who I was. But when you walked into this room, it had like levels to it. There was 1, 2, 3, I think levels 4. It was not only the chorus room, but it was the band room too. So we had all the band instruments in there, and I'm pushing this. With me and my buddies pushing the piano, and the piano catches the carpet, and boom, it hits the floor and messes up, and we messed the piano up. Got in a lot of trouble, so I kind of hated music the rest of the year for a little bit. That was the very, but then I found out how precious music was. Yeah, music's a part of my life. It was always there when I felt like I couldn't find nothing else in this world that would accept me, because I could relate. Yeah, I was a heathen.
So, when did you? Just want to say before I ask any more questions, if there's anything you don't want to answer, just like go no or something, and we'll move on.
I'll answer everything.
When did you find out that you were? I think you had a mental illness. We'll just put it that way. And
When I was a young age, and I got into it with a kid on a playground, he was picking on me, called me Dumbo. It was kind of ignorant. I slammed him. I had anger problems, and it wasn't anger problems. I had problem inside my heart that at a young age I had to learn how to fight. My mom had to tell me to get counseling. I had to go to a place called Rock, and they had to evaluate me. When they evaluated me, I had to learn how to suppress my feelings and not tell them too much, because if I told them too much, they expected too much of me. So I just told them enough. They expected little of me. So I had to go through counseling. And at a young age, I knew that there's a lot of things that addiction can do to babies before they were born. And I don't know the whole story. I really haven't got into it with my mom. I love my mom. She's precious to me. She's my sunflower. But sorry, I gotta push through this. I have to learn how to control and turn those feelings that it makes you feel inside your stomach, and when you get nervous and stuff. That's also another feeling of excitement, but also when you have anger or when you're sad, it's also the feeling you have when you're happy, sad. So you can learn how to suppress those feelings and channel it and breathe. So that's what I gotta do here. My mom's my sunflower. So my mama's special too. You know what I mean? So I get it from my mama. And I don't know my mama for it, but I wish she had my intelligence. She deserves it. at a young age.
And did you, so your mental illness kind of play into your, who you kind of, so I don't know how to ask this question. Hold on, let me figure it out. You say you started out listening to like country and classic rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then you also kind of, you mentioned Tech Nine, strange music, and that kind of music, which is kind of total flip flop. So, which one of those things came first? I'm curious. Did you find Tech Nine before you realized that you had a mental illness, or how did these two correlate with each other?
My mom and dad split up, and I was 7, 8 years old. Lost my dad one night. Went to jail. Truth be told, lost my mom in one night too, because the next day we was moving in with somebody. I ran away so many times. My stepdad, him and I don't get out of eye contact. We never did, and I ain't gonna disrespect him or anything, because I respect him because he makes my mama happy. And he tried to warn me a lot of times about this, but I mean, it is what it is. I hated him. Now, I know it's a strong word, but as a kid, it's the only form of whatever I could feel inside my heart. I didn't know what animosity was. I didn't know what, jealousy was. I didn't know what envy was. I was 7 going into 8 years old. And my mom had got with this fella that was going to has given her, due to my dad's addiction. My dad was an alcoholic. Bad. My dad drank a liter to a pint. It didn't matter if he drank it, but it was sometimes no less than a pint. And when my dad would get into my mom, we'd have to leave several times. We'd be home. But long story short, how this coincided, I ran away finally so many times that my mom and my stepdad couldn't take care of me. I wasn't going to my counseling. I tried to commit suicide. I tried to commit suicide twice. There was just several things that I was being told not to do, but in front of me, I was being told not to do, but they was doing it in front of me. So I was doing what I was being. I don't blame anybody for myself, but the people who my influences. I was influenced in the wrong way. So when I went around what I was told not to do and stuff, people wouldn't act right, and there wasn't really love shown to me. So I was neglected, pushed to the side. I felt like I was a runt. Anytime I seen a dog have a runt or whatever, I took that dog. And I felt, because that's what I felt like. So I took off. I ran off. Finally, I ran away for the last time. The police finally come and look for me. And my mom and my stepdad, they couldn't take care of me. Man, I was a heathen. I was constantly getting messed up. I was already put in probation. I've been this, and that, at a young age, going in. Yeah, I promise you, had been in trouble at the age of 7, going into 8 years old, going into 9, 10 years old. I finally ran away. And then finally, at the age of 12 and 13, when my mom and my stepdad couldn't do this no more, I was introduced to Tech Nine because I moved in with my aunt and uncle. I'm not going to say their names because the reason is I'll get in trouble. I don't want to, but they put me in a place and a home, and my cousin was there, and he was my father figure, and I always looked up to this guy. He played baseball. My dad. The people that introduced me to hip hop. He threw me a CD. This is 99, 98 when I first heard him talk about him. 98, 99. I just kept hearing him. I go over to his house, but listening to them and Bone Thugs back in the day when I was a kid. But this is when he first was coming out, and you can get on the computers and you can get the big square back. But long story short, he had these mixtapes, and he's like, I finally moved in at the age of 13, and I seen Tech Nine. I'm like, hey man, I remember this guy this whole time, and I could picture myself. I remember this guy, man. He's like, you like, you like rap. I was like, yeah, I like rap. It's poetry. But what he didn't know that at that given point in time, I had just got done grabbing a book from the Veneta Library, the Veneta Public School, Ewing Hustle Middle School library. It was a Concrete Rose. I think that's what it's called, Tupac's book, or Concrete Rose, or Poetic Justice, or I can't remember what it was. It was something, but I remember seeing a Concrete Rose coming out of the cover of the book. It was a hard black print. And I'm like, yeah, and I pulled this out of my backpack. He goes, oh, so he loved me. And he knew that I didn't have my mom and dad. And we clicked because I wasn't as big as he was. He was a big dude. My dad was a big dude. My uncle was a big dude. My other cousin was a big dude. I never felt like I was good enough for him. And like now, I still don't feel like I'm good enough for him. But he introduced me to him. And I put that CD on, and I man. So every time Christmas come around or something come around, I didn't gun or something, you know what I mean? Or I wanted a bike or something. No, but the main thing I wanted was music. I wanted CDs. I wanted stuff that I could put on my head or introduce me to a new type of something that made me feel a certain way. And my bro just, at the time, we was just on repeat. But little did I know at that given point in time, he was caught up in the mix with a lot of things. And I was introduced at a young age to what a lifestyle was that a lot of people talk about and assume that you ain't been through. I haven't been through the big places and done big things, but I've seen things, and I've seen and I was introduced. These children are not gonna do what you say, they're gonna do what you do, And I was doing what I was seeing that they was doing. And it involved with a lot of music. It didn't matter any type of, if something, I know it, I'm not gonna, I don't want to sound like, a hypocrite or anything, but when I was going through those things, certain music was being played, but then some memories was really good, and then some memories was truly bad. But now I'm like thinking like that, but it's made me who I am. So it's a bittersweet with that. I got took for my first concert. I've been to quite a few Tech Nine concerts at the Kings Ballroom. As a kid growing up, I've done so many, like, I don't know how many times I've done it, man. People were just, hey, Norman, spit Tech Nine song. I just sing in class, or I'd be in the cafeteria. But I had people trying to put shows and stuff, and they did put shows in the auditorium. And then once we got to high school, I could never be like them because I felt like, I didn't belong, or I just, that's where that part of me came in. I felt like I was going to be judged. And now growing up, I wasn't like what everybody else was. I wasn't like, how should I say it? Like, when something was introduced to me and it really hit me, Tech Nine hit me. Tech Nine hit me hard. He hit me so freaking hard that like wow. And then when he come out with his Angelica, and then he comes out with Absolute Power, was it Absolute Power and then Angelica? I can't remember. But then Constantly Dirty come on, and then he had that mixtape with all them on there, and it had Ain't Nobody Ever Gave Me Nothing, I'm on my own. I was down, yeah, but like I can't remember. I think I was 14, 15. So that was 2005, 2004 when I really 2003 is when but 2004, I was in 9th grade, and I lost Absolute Power, but I had the whole deal of Tech Nine back then, and it had the CDs in it, plus the DVDs in it. How he and Chris Calico was helping him critique him down. Now, don't get me wrong; it's been a long time since I've seen it. and I've had brain injuries since then and stuff. But you know, and I've been through a lot of stuff in my life. But like I seen they was down in the, I think a basement somewhere, and there was just glass windows everywhere, and Tech was on there, and then I think Kelly going no, and then this Tech goes I think it was the Killer Clowns that he was critiquing them on the Killer Clowns. The Killer Clowns in the town was in all hell. He was gonna what's for the bang, you know, and stuff like that. I can't remember how he did it, but he was, I don't know, but man, that inspired me. And I was looking up at my big cousin at that time, and I'm like, I was thinking, God told me, whatever it was then, God told me, man, music is your life. And I told my brother Jacob Cox this, and I told this brother this so long ago, and I told a few other people. I don't know if it's the famous, but like now me talking about it now, I feel something inside when I speak upon these people who have influenced me with my music, because my music is what influences me to do what I do today, to try to give those influences, because it's a culture. That's what people don't understand. People try to get into the and get in there where this. No, the rap music is culture. It's culture. It's rhythm and poetry, you know, and you got to feel and live if you're going to do something and talk, and if you're going to speak up on set, you know, and you got to understand where it comes from. And these people were in my living room where I stayed. These people were every day. Like, you know, when they say Mahomes, I'm gonna say Mahomes is gonna be he's gonna be a household name, you know. And then just like Elway come and brought y'all household name, John Elway and Broncos back in the day. I'm telling you, I watched him retire with my grandma. My grandma Winnie, she was a fan. I think she was from Colorado, but my grandma Winnie was so big of a Broncos fan. I'm not trying to yell, but she had a real holographic rookie limited edition, and then a card, and she loved. But shout out, you know what I mean. But yeah. So you know, there was just so much when I got into these people that, because when Shady come on and started doing his stuff and started getting on there, and then he started getting them people, I felt it inside, like he's an influencer, he's a visionary. Don't quit. Can you imagine how many people has got up here and has got it twisted of what it truly is? So you know, this right here is something that, you know, we live below poverty, you know. Even though my dad had something growing up, my dad played, you know, he was registered as a Major League Baseball player. My dad's standing there, you know, and there's a lot to it. And my dad played AA, AAA ball, and I learned from him, like when it come from the sports, I wanted to fill his shoes, but I couldn't. I wasn't big enough. There was people that was faster than me in school, or I was shy. When I got introduced to Tech Nine come on, you know, I got my face painted crazy, and that up that dude looking like he got a white tattoo. You know, that's, you know, red nose when he comes on, he come out different. People accepted him because I liked horrific gore stuff growing up. I liked the things that people thought was impossible, you know, and Tech Nine was different. And people thought he was a devil worshiper, or he thought it was this, and no, he was different. He had his own flex. And when he was introduced into my life, this guy that introduced me to it, he let me run with it. I had these little, you know, I had growing up, you know, I draw, and I would sing Tech, I would just rap with Tech, and that's just, man, all his music. And then Brother Lynch Hung come into the, you know, that guy right there started speaking some of my language. And you know, growing up, I was either called Stormin' Norman, or what, you know, what my uncle used to call me, something else, you know, or I would get called, you know, Norman Bates or Norman Rockwell, you know, or Batman, you know, Norman, and then you know, I was just playing. What I didn't like was how people used to make fun of me in school, call me Bucktooth Beaver, Four Eyes, or Dumbo. So growing up, I had to be a bully to the bullies, and I got picked on. Growing up, I had a certain group of individuals. I'm not gonna shout out their name stuff. I done mention one of them a while ago, and that brother was always there, and his mama. One time when my mom and my dad couldn't feed me, I got put into the addicts alternative school because I skipped school so much in 8th grade, 9th grade. And it was going to take me to jail, take my mama to jail. My dad was going to college. So I got put in the Addicts Alternative Academy, a shelter for kids, at the school shelter for kids, you know what I mean? And I was constantly dirty. Didn't have no one love me. Didn't feel like they loved me. It was the things that I was doing. But in all reality, my brother's mom let me sleep in there, and they was making music then back in the day. And they was pretty good at it and still are. And I remember I was staying there. I woke up one day and I didn't want to go to school. And I remember she come in there, she kicked my feet. She's full-blooded Indian. Kicked my feet. She's like, Norman, you got to go to school. I was like, yeah. I thought I was being invisible. I thought she couldn't see me. And she's like, you got to go to school. And I don't want to go to school. I had to leave. She wasn't going to be in trouble for me. She wasn't going to have someone show up on her door, knocking on the door that shouldn't be there. So I left. That day right there was the day that I realized who Tech 9 was. Tech 9, Chris Calico was with them then. And when they did Player, I'm a player. When Chris Calico come on, Calico's guys, you know, when his come on, I didn't understand the concept of what that song really meant. Now I do. I really listen to it. Like, I know it sounds crazy. I haven't listened to it for so long because that was one of my very first songs that I really, before Mitch Begg would come out. You know what I mean? It was hard for me to inside my mind grasp the concept of what they was talking about. You know, because I was held at. But then once I got on the streets, I knew what they was talking about, and I was like, oh, hold on. Well, I talk about them, and I told everyone, wait, Tech 9's gonna go. Tech 9's gonna go big. Tech 9's gonna. Oh yeah. Just like now, how like some of these people, it's just crazy how much back then it took to get your stuff out. You had to make the mixtapes. You had to do this. It's so different from what the technology is nowadays. So the much as they put in work, and it exhausted me back then. I kept telling myself, man, I can't do this. I can do this. And and they inspired me to keep living. So they was living, I was living. I was like, man, now I understood. They went through these things. I went through these things. So in comparison, it's like, I don't believe in coincidences, but I do believe that something up there had placed them inside of my path in order for me to understand that, okay, I'm going to give you a gift and respect it. Well, I respect it. I'm not saying but I do feel like if I had the right mentorship, the right, okay, this is how we do these things. This is the way, the criteria, breaking it down. Give me the whole, you know what I mean? And I know I know it's a culture and stuff, and I know, and I'm aware. I've lived up with them, you know what I mean? And with my brothers and sisters, and we all struggled ourselves, and we went through a lot of things that you know what I mean? And we're sitting here holding our heads low until the storm passes over. Eventually, one of the bros are like, hey, bro, come on, let's handle this. No, come on, shake it off. Don't worry about it. You know, kids picking on me in the school bus, man. Mike and my bro Mike had to run up on him, and there was one black guy around, cowboy boots, to give him time. Picked up from me these other white kids that was picking on me. I mean, I didn't understand why they was picking on me. Well, that's because some people. I was a mutt. You know what I mean? And it was hard for them to see me as, well, am I this or am I that or am I this? I hung out with these people, and and people they just knew that my dad was an alcoholic, and he hung out with all the knuckleheads. And there was a lot of things that we couldn't relate to, so I was misjudged, misunderstood, and picked on, and I was the first one to ignite the fuse. Even though I was the quietest one in the room, if you picked on me, I'd let you know, because there were so many times I got my heart broke, man, and it wasn't the heartbreak that you would talk about. Oh, poor he fell in love. No, my spirit has been ripped in two, has been shard in pieces, and it's like Tech Nine when I kept hearing him make a masterpiece after a masterpiece. Then I started seeing his momentum. Then I started seeing how he was weaping out, and then I was talking to people in other towns that, beforehand, these people didn't do this or do this. Well, my cousin, he had to go across seas because he was really messed up and intoxicated. The guy that introduced me to him in 2003 or four. I think it was 2003. I could be wrong though. 2003, I believe. He went to Hawaii, and little did I know that Tech Nine was over there putting on a show in Hawaii, and he got a demo for me from the dude that was pushing Tech Nine's demo CDs there, and he got a dog, and I brought it home, and we had a pup. Me and my brother had a pup. It was a Hawaiian red-nosed pit, and regardless of anyone, I know I might hurt people's feelings, and I know I might say this, but I forgive what he did to my dad. I love him. I know Jesse might look at me stupid, but I love him. I forgive him. That makes me a coward? That makes me a coward. But without my music family, I would have never become who I am today. And music speaks to you. I mean, it speaks to you. It speaks to you in a way that nobody else can speak to you. You can play an instrumental or a beat. You can give it to anybody, and it speaks everyone's language. But you can give a talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, you speak.
No, I just, you said to me just maybe a day or so ago that you had something that you really wanted to just get off your chest or tell the world. What was that? What did you want to tell? What is it that you want to do now?
I don't remember. I took my medicine since then.
Let me see. I will refresh.
If you can refresh my memory, it'll reboot.
You just said that you had something done to you today, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So yesterday, that hurt your feelings, and that you really wanted to do this show.
I wanted to do this show.
Oh. Who hurt your feelings yesterday? What happened yesterday?
Oh. I feel like how I'm approaching myself and what we're doing, and how you do and what you do for everybody, and who you work for, and how you push things. Where we come from, people talk a lot of big game. People say that they might want to do this or do this, and they never do. You see them the next day on, hey, what are you doing? I thought you said, lies. When someone speaks, I had someone tell me that's really special to me and who's been riding with me and helping me through this, and they believe in me, and they're the one that's making all this possible. And you will meet them, you will meet them, and you will love them. And the thing is that they told me, Norman, it's not about the fact that they don't believe that your team's real. It's the fact it's hard for them to fathom the situation of the possibilities of what this actually is. When you come to Colorado and when you do these things, and exactly what this is about, it hit me. You can't make no one believe what it is you say. And that doesn't mean that whatever you listen to on the radio or whatever you see on these videos and the music is actually true. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people follow somebody, but that person might not even really be that person. And they might be putting off because a lot of people's true colors show. So I had someone specifically tell me that I'd given up on my family. And that I'm a lot of talk. I'm a lot of talk, but not the walk. And I talked to you about what I needed to do. and how I'm this and how I'm that. And you told me, Norman, you have to do this. This is what you got to do. You got to make this. You got to make more this, whatever. And it hit. I'm like, okay. So now I'm all day long, even though I'm not at a studio because I ain't blessed like that. But I got my equipment. I got this thingy right here. All I need is a 48 watt volt, whatever amp, and a two female, one male split. And I got all my recording stuff. Then I can send it to people after recording it. And then then it'd sound crisp. You get on the right platform, whatever I need to on here, get on there and send it to whoever and have them chop it, whatever. And then we can start working there until I get to Colorado. But I had someone that tell me personally like that I wasn't real, that what I'm doing is I'm just doing it for wolf treats, but they don't know how I feel inside. They don't know how much work I truly put into all this. They don't know how much stuff that when because there's I have Jesse. I'm telling you, I have. If I was to fill up, it'd be a big tote of notebooks of how much I have freaking wrote. Oh my gosh, man. I had two notebooks that was very precious, that was really full of some really hard stuff that I was going through in life when I was locked up. And they come home with me. They didn't confiscate it because it wasn't this related or that related or didn't have this in it. And I had to keep it with my Bibles. And they made it home. And they got ripped up in front of me. I couldn't do nothing about it. Then I was told personally, like, why don't I do country music? Why am I doing rap? It hurt my feelings, man. Because what they don't realize is that they're brainwashed into thinking what they shouldn't be thinking or whatever. It's just an opinion. And I honestly, like, because I chose rap, because it's in my heart, that's who I am, you know. I'm proud to be who I am. I feel like the last bit of the family that I do love that's on my mama's side, that because I chose rap and not country, then turn it back on the too. It's kind of hard. It's hard. Because then you find out the love that they had was based upon opinion. Maybe it's because of country or culture, I don't know. But my last name's Watkins. I never fit on that side of the family. And when I hung out with my dad's side of the family, their last names were Watkins. So it was hard for me. It was hard for me to accept myself for what society accepted me as, and the only way I could escape was through music. Like, that's why I asked some stuff for music. I feel like they think that maybe what I'm saying is fake.
Well, I don't think you should hold much weight on a name or something like that anyway, because
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Jackson, and if I was to live up to that name, shouldn't I be, I don't know, a different color and be making R&B music? And like, in the big scheme of things, majority of people who are named Jackson are not this tone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and the ones who set a good name for them, and the music industry and that's major. That's a beautiful thing. But I got you. That's a good.
Well, and
good
it's different how it can.
Oh, I flipped.
Your interpretations of things like that can change throughout the years, because I was teased throughout when I was young.
Oh, I can feel it. I can feel it.
Sorry, even before that damn song, I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson, like, I thought it was cool to make fun of me or for being related to Michael Jackson. That was the biggest question. Oh, ha, 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 are you related to Michael Jackson? And I'm like, I don't know, it used to bother me. And I don't even know why. Like,
I come into school, it was either ooh Norman, ooh, like the song back in the day, the 50s or 60s song, or Norman Bates. Oh no, everyone, you know what I mean? So I mean, but it got to the point where I got old enough and I started fitting in, you know what I mean? But as growing up, it really messed up my mental growing up, at a young age. Because I realized that the way I think, I remember being young. Some of the fellas right now, or some of them women probably can't go back and remember way back then, you know what I mean? And I'm not knocking them for it, but like I said, I've been diagnosed, so I'm getting those transcripts pulled up actually, so I can get in this new home and everything. So it's gonna help me. But long story short, though, this house, we're gonna get a house. It was an advantage because I was able to learn a lot quicker. I was able to learn, hear things, sounds, imitate sounds. When I was a kid, I'd be in the hallway and I'd make a real loud sound, and the teacher would stop. Hey, did you? Hey, come here. And they would think it was someone else. Then I'd walk by. No, it was me. That was me. And they'd tell me, don't be doing that again. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want that kid to get in trouble with me. You know what I mean? But I could fall asleep and wake up and ace the test, and it was ungodly. You know, I just had a gift. I had a gift to be able to see things at a perspective of what not everyone would see them as you would say.
And people have a tendency to ridicule what they don't understand. Is
Most
what it
definitely.
boils down to.
Most definitely.
You're different, and they just didn't understand. And you're older. You understand.
I understand what it is.
Exactly. And a lot more people, I'm not everybody, but a lot more people understand too. Like,
yeah, most definitely.
I don't know, I guess some needs to spend more time, I don't know, grooming each other how to get along instead of maybe teaching us how to write checks that no cash anymore.
That's right. Because you're right. You know what I mean? I feel that way because instead of like teaching them the algorithm of 1 + 1, and that's common. Okay, and I think that they should help them have cognitive skills, and some schools say that they do or they don't. You know what I mean? But I do believe that it should be out of, well, I'm just going to have this class for this year. No, allow them to actually teach them coping skills and show them that this is wrong and this is right. When it comes to respect and moralism. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Yeah, we should teach morals in school. Exactly.
Most definitely. And there probably is some, but I don't know. I haven't been in school since 11th grade.
Yeah, I
know. But I got my education though while I was in there. I got a high school diploma.
When did you write your first song?
Oh, my very first song. That's 5. It was a stupid ass song. Yeah, me and my sister Chantilly. She's mad at me right now, but I love her. That's my sister. I didn't do nothing bad. It's just I was playing brother. But I got my sister singing it, and she sang it all the time. And we got on the school bus coming back home, and it was only because we was watching Timon and Pumbaa on Lion King. Growing up, man, we grew up on those. We had all the collection, my whole collection. And then no, I take it back. My mama had some. My mama had the whole collection. But so did my stepmom. After my dad remarried, she had the whole collection of Disney. But by then, Lion King come out, and Timon and Pumbaa was singing. They was eating them bugs, and it was like I told my sister I was like, I'm gonna make a song, and I was out there. I promise you. I know this is stupid. I know it might gross some people out, but man, I had this buddy named Mark, dude. He do it on the school bus too. I promise you. And it was one of those things. We'd grab a bug and we eat it. You know what I mean? Nowadays you can't do that because they got parasites or something. You know what I mean? You got to be careful. But I'd grab a worm, and I was a very when I got into character, like if I was thinking I was doing something as a kid, I probably looked very hysterical. I really acted out of my head, and I think that in my head, this is what I become. So I was Timon and Pumbaa, and I had this yummy, yummy, yummy. I got bugs in my tummy. It tastes so good to me, or something like that. And then I looked at my sister. I said, "Yummy, yummy, yummy. I'm gonna eat this worm and be in my tummy. It tastes so sweet." I remember I just kept singing or something, and my sister started saying it. It's just now you hear people singing stuff like that. It's like, man, that's crazy. But it was just I was 5 years old. You know what I mean? And I was rhyming. And then I was introduced at 6 years old, really at 6 years old, to what rap was. And it was a different type of, it was a way different type of, whoa, you know what I mean? But I just, it was back then it seemed like that time span was a big stretch, but truly it wasn't. It was short. But 5 years old. For real.
So for you personally, your what is your dream? What do you aspire to be when you grow up?
Be like Chris Calico.
You're gonna
Chris
be
Calico. Yeah. I can't sing as good as he can, but I know that I could critique my voice in a way that it could be used in the film. Uh, Tech Nine, C Mob, King Cash, King ISO, Twisted Insane. People don't realize that these brothers had their hearts ripped from their chest. I don't care what anyone says. I feel it. Like right now, I hear it in my ears, and it's one of those things. I want to NF. I know it sounds stupid. NF is pretty good too, though, because he knows how to paint a picture. Like Tech Nine painted a picture. I could write it worse and take your son away. You know, uh, if I was to be something like that, I have enough people believing in me that they may think that this is make believe, but impossible is only misspelled I'm possible. It's just a man's hurried way of trying to force something too fast into a piece of the puzzle that didn't yet fit. So you got to take a deep breath and breathe. Learn how to meditate. And learn how to stay focused. Uh, put your whole heart and soul when you're writing, but you got to be minded. The free to success is to free your mind. The key to success is to free your mind. I'm sorry. The key to success is to free your mind. You can never always be right. If you're always right, you'll never be wrong. You won't learn. You know, let's see. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
You answered it pretty much. What do you want to be when you grow up? So basically, you want to be.
You know how Jerry Robinson, Tech Nine, and how you know what I mean. I'm not being conceited or anything, but you know how Tech Nine picks some guys up and he coaches them. He coaches. I know. I can see it in Tech Nine. I know it's every show I ever went to, and I got to shake his hand. I felt it. Tech Nine doesn't feel like he's a father figure, but he is. Like I know that he probably I don't know what he feels now because he's success. But back then in this music, it felt like Tech Nine felt like I felt like Tech Nine was saying that he, you know, his Mackenzie, you know, and his daughter and stuff and his kids, he loved them. You know, all my life I've been away from all my family. So I know what it's like to be away from that. I got what it takes. I know what it takes. Yeah. Chris Calico, like I know that he's got a lot of game he can teach. Ooh, I know he's got a lot of stuff he could teach, and he sings from the stomach. He sings from the stomach. Chris Calico's the shit. I'm sorry, he's the shit. He's my icon. Tech Nine, I love Tech Nine, but Chris Calico spoke to me, especially when he was singing low. I'm sinking again, drinking, yeah. That's how I feel in the morning. That's how I feel. Sound when you calling. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm sorry. I'm feeling lower than low. That song hit me the most hardest in my whole entire life.
So,
Ever.
out of those people that you just named, if you had the opportunity to work with any one of them, which one would you choose?
I like King Cash. He's awesome. But I, Chris Calico, all hands down, no questions. He reps Casey. Kansas City Chiefs. I love the Broncos too, though, so don't get me twisted, sis. Don't get me twisted either. Yeah. I can't tell me
So,
what is that, though.
what is your strategy right now to help yourself get to where you want to be?
Colorado. Get to you.
And what are you doing right now to do that? What's going on in your life? Tell us about what you're doing over there.
I'm okay. I'm going through my mental therapy. I'm going through counseling. I gotta get it all reset up. I gotta sign some paperwork. It's a packet. Uh, Due to my criminalization back in the past, and me being in prison for a long time, it had a jurisdiction on how I would proceed in my life, where I would get help from. All my life, he was took from me last year. So when you was there, you was there, you was there. Uh, uh, okay, I'm getting help. I got assistance, the government. They got deals that they can help with. I qualify for HUD, so my stuff has been far away off behind me that I can actually get assistance now. So it helps people who's low poverty or poverty and people who don't have jobs or people who's having trouble with getting jobs due to having felonies or something like that. Because there's some places that won't take a person with felony. Doesn't matter what type of felony it is. Any type of, I mean, there's some places won't take one. So I struggle not only with trying to cope in with life, but I struggle with being profiled automatically. Have you ever been convicted of a crime or a felony? Please, if yes, explain. And then it's gotten to the point now I'll explain during an interview. You know what I mean? But it it they can look it up, and it's all my stuff's there, and it's nothing bad or anything, but it's just one of those things. I was a hellion, I was young, I was dumb, and I was full of nonsense, and I didn't. So now that I went through all this stuff, I was going through things in life. I was tired of being homeless. I was tired of, and I'll be honest with you right now, I'm homeless now, but I'm not. But I'm still homeless. Does that make sense? But things is about to change. I'm sorry, I'm excited. I wanted to tell you, we're about to move into a house, about to get this stuff situated, we'll get this thing settled. So now my name will be on the house, and we'll be able to sit there. I'll be able to get things done. I'm gonna stack up some money because the rent ain't gonna be too expensive. I'm gonna stack up some money. I've already got everything set up. So when the time comes after I stack this money up, 10, 15, 20 grand, it ain't gonna take long. I got someone helping. So it ain't gonna take stuff that I'm really good at with my art, and I want to send you something. I'm gonna get off the rabbit trail a bit. I'll come back to this part. I want to send you something. I want to make you something. I want to send you something too. So I got to get your address in here time soon, and I got to send you your dinosaur anyways. But I want to do something of appreciation that's artistic. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's postboard or something or whatever. I want to send you something, but I'm very artistic. You already know that. But anyways, back to what I was saying. I got a way that I can hustle and make my money and stack this money up. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna purchase a house for the first time. I'm gonna go to a mortgage, sis. I'm gonna get a mortgage here. Okay, I'm gonna have the money, get a mortgage, put it down, have a home off on the side. I've already had this dream in my head. It's already been manifested. Me speaking of it, so it's the power of laws of attraction. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in. If you believe with your whole heart and soul inside of your pit of your stomach, and you meditate it, and you shall receive it. But you got to believe it's already happened. So with this affirmation to confirmation. So with that said, I'm gonna get a house, get the RV and everything. It's set. Thank you. So you've been so much of an influence to me, and I got music equipment, and I still got my tattoo stuff. So everything I went through. It's there. So now all I got to do is focus on my mental health, focus on writing my music, and I got a beat pack, and it's a big one. My next one that I get is gonna be from Wishmaster. That's my next one. I promise you. I'm gonna get one from him. That bro, man, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And hopefully I can get one with some hooks. I have a problem with hooks. I got to get back in the singing class. I know it sounds stupid, but I don't care what anyone says. When you're singing, it's muscle, and muscle has memory. My voice has matured since then. It has changed. It has gotten deeper. So it's kind of hard, It's when I talk, I want someone to go in there and take me through all the singing. It's just there's you go through warm ups, and you got to go through this, and you got to go through that. You got to practice this. You got to practice that. You got to do this, and you got to do that. Arsenic Annie told me I haven't hit her back up since I'm off a chain and a log, and I'm not sitting there like an animal. I can go out. I need to give a shot. If you still talk to her, I don't know if you still talk to her. Tell her I am doing good, and I want to send her a friend's request here time soon. And Miss Daisy Duke and Gabrielle Loco, I love y'all. I miss y'all. We used to talk a lot until something happened, and now I'm away from it. So I got Miss Jessie and Miss Sunray. I didn't have nothing then, and y'all was there. That was crazy. I didn't know I was going to run into this in the future. I did not know that this would even be possible, and the thing is that it helped when you have a proper support group. Your support group is who you become. Am I taking this too long? Am I going too long? When it's too much, just let me know.
No, awesome. You're good. It got really loud outside, so I had to mute myself.
Okay. Let me know. We gotta have an emergency word, strawberry or something. Hey.
No, you're good, man. I probably could.
When did you start your art? When did you start your stuff? When was you introduced to Cali?
My art, I started really super young because my grandmother.
Yeah, I know this is mine, but I wanted to ask you. Because I haven't asked yet.
Actually, yeah, no one actually has asked that question. Okay. So, yeah,
Grandma?
I think I owe a lot of my art to my grandmother from my dad's side, my grandma Carol.
Oh, no. Hey, hold on. My dad's mom's Carol, and she's artistic. Yeah, no way.
Yeah, my grandmother is.
That's going to blow some people's minds when they hear that right here. What you just said, it's going to.
It's kind of weird, though, because my grandmother painted. She was like oil paints and watercolors and things like that. And I am much more pen and pencil. Painting actually scares the hell out of me. It intimidates me. Not really scares
each other, maybe.
So I get my art from, but it's completely different style.
Yeah.
My music is all the way. I got that from every part of
Everything.
everything. Yeah.
Everything.
I mean,
You're your own person. Yeah.
yeah.
That's so awesome.
My mom. I acquired my mom to a lot of the country music. She's the one who
That's my
brought
mom.
me up on Garth
Yeah.
Brooks.
Garth
And then my
Brooks.
dad
Yeah.
and my grandpa, they were the ones with the classic rock, you know, like you said, ZZ Top, all that. And believe it or not, I was the one who introduced my dad to some of, I guess you could, back then when I introduced him to it, it was current music, but Kid Rock.
Oh,
and,
that was my shit too. That was my shit too.
Yeah, like our kind of rock and roll versus classic. I actually turned my dad on to a lot of that music.
I did too. I remember there was this group. I know a lot of people don't listen to them, and they're called was it Wasteland? Is that the name of the song? I can't remember who.
Yeah, if that's the name of the song,
10 years, Wasteland. 10 years.
Yes,
Wasteland.
Absolutely.
And I introduced my dad to them, and I introduced them to I can't remember, but yeah, he was into it. He actually liked that. My dad actually kind of introduced me to Kid Rock, kind of, because my Aunt Swan and all them. They kind of had their little thing, so it was just one of those things. I was just to the point, like, man, whatever my dad said, I followed my dad and my mom's music, but man, when I was influencing my dad, that was a good thing. That was an awesome feeling. That was a cool feeling, wasn't it?
It really was.
Yeah.
One of my best memories was driving up the mountain. My dad was an electrician, and he worked on $1 million homes, and one of them was up in what the hell was the name of that town that you're always going up to?
The Sunrise.
Genesee. Yes. And we drove up there, and the whole trip we were smoking fucking joint after joint, and my dad we listened to Tool.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of my favorites, man.
That my dad had a fucking banging system too, so we were so high smoking joint after joint, and the whole cruise up the mountain just blaring. Like, I love Tool, but by the time we got there, I was like, oh my god, man, I need out of this car, because it was just. But that's just one of those memories for me that cemented Tool being one of my favorite bands, and just one of those connections, like you said, with music and my dad. And everything. It's just a moment where you felt.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was exhilarating.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel you on that, man. I feel you on that.
I actually got introduced to Strange Music and ICP and all of that, kind of. I was a Juggalo first. I listened to Twisted and ICP, and I actually
first.
I didn't find out who Tech Nine was until, God, I was probably last year of middle school, first year of high school. I was a late bloomer.
No, you wasn't. That's perfect. You was still in that age of productivity of growing in here. So that's why you're where you're at today. You might have felt like you was a late bloomer. You just didn't. It didn't get to you. It just you know what I mean. It's just the way the time era and how far a late bloomer is now. That's a late bloomer.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I'm not knocking them either, because they need it. They need techno. They need Chris Calico. They need Earhouse Odyssey, Strange Music Incorporated. They need Riches. Wherever they go to. You know what I mean? Wherever they. That's our family. That's my family, because there is never nothing in life that you can't go to when it comes to music. You always go to music, or there's nothing like that you can't go to when it's you can always go to music. There, I had to correct myself. Yeah, so no, you're not a late bloomer. I am proud to have you as my team leader. I'm proud to have you as my friend, and as my family, and as my comrade, and as my biggest person that I go to, that if I have a major problem, I You'll tell me straight. Tell me exactly what it is.
Yeah, come to find out, I've earned that reputation. I am the one who's going to give it to you exactly how it is.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that because that's what people need. That's what people need.
I agree, and it's a sore subject for me right now, but I still hold on to it, pretty dearly. But if you don't call people out on being stupid, they're just going to continue to be stupid. And I don't think that's something we should encourage.
You good there? Are you okay there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I heard it rant. I can't wait till I get there.
Oh,
I can't wait till I get there.
RV life, man. You're going to hear a lot of weird shit in the background over here. So I do have one question I have to ask that I ask all of my podcasters.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your favorite dinosaur?
My favorite dinosaur is the Velociraptor. Why? Because he's small but not too big. He's not too small, but he's not too big. But just all the and just any plus Primal Instinct, all the games that I've ever played, and then the Velociraptor.
They're cunning.
Yeah, they're smart. Is that what that is? Yeah.
Yep.
I like the T-Rex too because the T-Rex is the first thing that you know that's going to come at you. That now we're finding more and more, but I'm saying the T-Rex, because man, I don't know what it was. I started drawing when I was a kid, and T-Rex is one of the first. That's one dinosaur I've never drawn yet, man. Is a T-Rex, so I'm gonna draw one for you. I'm gonna draw. We're gonna get some stuff going for this color book for you too. So, I promise you. But yeah, Velociraptor.
Nice. That's one of my favorites too.
And if it's an aquatic one, it's the is it the plesiosaurus or whatever? The Loch Ness.
Long neck. Yeah, Nessie. Yeah.
Yeah, Nessie. That's my next favorite one.
Nice. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we didn't talk about? I mean, I know you and I could probably go on forever and ever, but we're already over an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
So
I want to give a shout out to my family and
absolutely
the ones that brought me this far. I want to give a shout out to my brothers and my sisters that has pushed me this far. Also to my mama, even though I don't get to talk to you and see you a lot, Mama, I love you. I know you'll see this. Miss Denise Thurston, here's the podcast that she was asking for. All my cousins and family that has still believed in me. Here's the podcast. This is Miss Jessie Jackson, aka MadWackJackson, who is also very good and talented on the stage. But most of all, I wanted to get on here and tell my son Trevor and his brother Kyson, and even though Armani, I'm not a part of my son Armani's life right now. He's going on about to be 2 here time soon. Daddy loves you. Daddy loves you. That's it. Is that it?
You tell them whatever you want to tell them.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, I love you. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I thought it was. I love you, and that dreams do come true. Dreams do come true, and I promise you, if you put yourself to it, and if you give your whole heart and soul into it, if you believe in yourself, and you push when you feel like you have failed, and it's not about how many times you fall. It's about how many hits and how hard of a hit you can take. How many times you get back up and you keep swinging. No matter what it is in life that someone tells you can't, there is a possibility. Believe in yourself and put in time. You got to do it day in and day out. It becomes a habit. It becomes something that you master after you do it 2,000 times. So I've been told. So I just wanted to let everyone know that I love y'all and that possibilities are at reach if you reach out. That's about it.
Well, I Thank you, fam. I want to give a shout out to you because I've watched you come a long way from our first conversation. And honest to God, dude, I don't even know how or where you found me, but I'm really glad you did.
I seen you on a reel. You were showing hoodies.
Oh shit.
And out of all the things that I was watching that day, I was watching something way off on yonder in Yahoo somewhere in Bumfuck, Egypt, and I was just, and this shows up and strange music. Hold on, you know, and then you open up your closet, I think, and then this, and then it hit me, like, because my dad was alive then, but like I felt alone, and and I was going through some stuff in my life. I always go through stuff in my life. Every day I go through stuff in my life. I replay a lot of things. It's called PTSD. I replay a lot of things in my head, and I try to play it out different, like the old Goosebump books that you can, hey, choose this page, and a different, but it don't work out like that. So I saw you, and you was man, I don't know. I felt you. That's just, we're in the same frequency. We're in the same vibration. Our vibrations are high. They're not low. They didn't pump us with all that fluoride like they was expecting us to. You know? Sorry, I was, but I saw you doing those, and then all of a sudden, it was quite a bit later. I seen Archie Fartsy, and I'm like, hold on, man. My mom used to call me a fartsy or a fart knocker. You know, she used to call me a fart knocker. You're a fart knocker. Yeah.
I haven't heard that in so long.
You're a fart knocker. So, man, I'm a Pisces. So, I'm an artistic person. I'm an autistically artistic person, and man, it was just one of those things. Our paths crossed for a reason. It's for a reason, man.
Well, whatever the reason, I'm really glad that they did cross. And like I said, I want to give the biggest shout out to you because I have watched you come so far from where I first, I'm going to say met you, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I'm,
ma'am. I know.
I can't express enough how freaking proud of you I am. Like, seriously, you have almost become a whole new person, and the person that you've become, just every day you amaze me more and more.
That's all I want to do. I just want to inspire people. I want to inspire people to do things inspiring, so they can inspire me to keep inspiring people, to inspire people to inspire people. You know, so I want to
keep that up because you're doing an amazing job. You really are.
I appreciate it.
I cannot wait till you come out here. We have big plans. He kind of said a little bit of a thing earlier, so I will speak up on that. If you guys say stay tuned to Artsy Fartsy, we got I got another coloring book on the way. It's going to be completely artsy fartsy and some collaboration from my man Norman.
Yes. So, I don't know how many she needs, but I'll send her enough, and I'll get on one tonight. I'll draw one for you tonight.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Thank you, my man. I think we're going to call this a show. And
we tell Sunray I love her and I miss her too. Thank you. You listen. You did good. I'm proud of you. I am proud of you. You know what? For real, because listen, I don't know what goes on behind closed doors, and I'm not gonna take it too far, but I'm gonna say this much: you cannot be you, Miss Jessie, if you did not have your second half. And when you can't do what you need to do, I promise you, I will vouch for it. I'm gonna have to put this out there, and I don't. When there's sometimes you can't make it to certain things, and you're too busy, and you feel like you can't. There's some things that you can't handle. She takes care of your stuff behind your back. She comes there and makes sure that our team, and she makes. And I wanted to thank you for that, because I didn't know that. I didn't know it was gonna be like that, and I respect that. That's awesome. Yeah. And I mean, my son's mom has somebody like that, and I'm grateful, and it helps me let everyone know it is what it is. And when it comes to that, I'm grateful that when if I have to call up on somebody, there's someone always there. That's what I'm getting at. You're reliable. You're reliable.
Thank you. That's really all I hope. If there's one thing that I hope that I can am putting out there to people, that's what it is. You know, if you ever need a helping hand here, hopefully other people can see me as reliable, because that's all I'm really,
Yeah,
that's all I really want to be.
I was falling, and you know when you're falling and you got there's a picture of someone falling, and there's hands reaching out when the person's falling, and in those hands is things that person that was falling had. At the end, you kind of, I can't remember, maybe it's just something I see in my head that I haven't drawn up. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if this is how it is, but I could see someone being lifted up with hands behind them. The whole time they was caught, they was just focusing on what was behind them, tripping on what was behind them instead of what was in front of them. I mean, I don't know where I got all that. Sorry. Yeah. You was there. You was the hands that caught.
Well, stop apologizing. You need to be more confident, because you're fucking...
I'm confident. I'm confident. I'm not good at explaining things sometimes. Explaining sometimes for me is painting a picture.
Well, I love you. Sunray loves you. We all... I'm speaking for everybody. We all love you. And if
I love
you don't...
I love all y'all. Y'all's my family. Y'all's my family. I got a family. I'm not alone. I got a family, but this isn't the family that's gonna push me to being the best that I can be. Sorry. I was off my mind. I was thinking deeply. So I get that way sometimes.
There's nothing wrong with that. More people should think deeply more often. Maybe we wouldn't walk around being so dumb.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that.
Well, like I said, I thank you for doing this with me. If you ever want to do this again, my door is always open for podcasts or otherwise. So,
I am working on a couple new songs. As we speak. I'm trying to get these. Now, I done sent a kind of a photo. That's a rough draft of them. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna doctor of them. But I've got 2 new songs to start writing 2 today. So altogether, that'd be 4. If I can get these 4 put together once I get moved into the sport, so I should have at least 2 ready. I just wanted to let everyone know that I had that ready. So out of the 4, I have at least 2. That'd be something different.
Fantastic. We look forward to that for sure. All right. Well,
is that the cue?
I think we're going to call it a show, brother. Thank you very much.
I love you.
I love you.
You have a good night.
You too, man.
All right. Bye.
Thank you guys for watching. I think I have another podcast later on this month with Obsolete. And be sure to tune in to all my previous podcasts that can be found on this channel. A lot of them are really good, you guys. Go check them out. And as always, for being hype as fuck with us. Until next time. What the heck? Sorry. Technical issues.